All right, it's Monday on Daily Delivery. Michael Rand here. Patrick Reusse with me, as always. Patrick, you tweeted over the weekend, and it was true, and mostly remains true. Although the Wild did get a win on Sunday against the Capitals to kind of save a little bit of the weekend, but it was not a great outcome-based weekend in Minnesota sports. You had the Wolves losing twice. Gopher men's hockey team lost to Michigan in the Big Ten title game, although the Gophers did get still the number one overall tournament seed, so no real damage done there. In the big picture, Gopher women hockey team lost to Wisconsin in the Frozen Four, and you had the Wild had their 14-game point streak end against Boston, which is beating everybody these days. But it was not a good 24-hour
No,
span, and probably
no,
the
it
worst of it
wasn't.
the worst of it, Patrick, was the Wolves, who lost twice and lost Anthony Edwards in the process. Now, it sounds like Ant's ankle injury maybe isn't as bad as it looked initially, but Patrick, this time of year, you lost twice. You only got 10 games left. You got the Knicks coming up, who are red hot. Doesn't sound like Ant's going to play in that game for sure. Getting late early at this point because, even though they're still kind of in that play-in range, like I said, 10 more games left and no Ant, no Cat still. What do you make of this?
Yes, it's I mean it's the dangest thing I've ever seen. There's, as you said, there's 10 games left and we still haven't seen the cat man. What
No,
if he's practicing? If he's doing things in practice, full practices, why is he not playing?
it's a great
What is,
question.
12 minutes? Get him. What are we waiting for?
No
Oh, you
idea.
gotta declare him done for the season. It's a joke. And now, did you say he's kind of tweeting out like "turn me loose"? So is
Yeah,
it the
yes,
team?
I think it was
Is it a
yesterday.
team decision then?
He tweeted a picture of a caged lion, and he said, "Me waiting to get cleared to play. Let the kid do what he loves," with a
Well,
basketball emoji.
so is he's maybe answering the long question here. Is I just assumed it was him not feeling like he was ready to play,
I did too.
but yeah, I agree with him. What are they waiting for? Do they just do, do they think having him is going to screw up this great chemistry they've had
Yeah, right.
lately, where they've lost 5 out of 6, and now that they don't have Edwards, they're
Oh yeah.
absolutely dead. I don't know. It's as I if you can screw it up, it doesn't make any difference who's running this team, who's running the operation, who's coaching. Doesn't make any difference. If it can be screwed up, the Minnesota Timberwolves will screw it up.
Yes.
That is the franchise motto. And I used to say, even when the Timberwolves do the right thing, it's the wrong thing.
Yes.
But this is even more of that. What difference? 3 days after he starts practicing, let him play 8 minutes, and then
Yes.
see what you got.
Right.
I don't know. The
Oh,
It's almost like they don't want him to play because they. I don't know what their ulterior motive is to not play him, but who knows? They don't talk about it. I told you this the other day. My colleague on another podcast, Suture, says,
yeah.
why don't you guys go get some answers for this from Tim Connolly? Why don't we get some answers from this
Yeah.
Connolly guy? I said, Joe, what do you want us to tie him into a chair and like they
Right.
do in the gangster movies and then beat him till he
Right.
tells us something? You know, a pox on these guys. The hell with them. They can screw up anything. It, you I don't know. It's disgusting. Yeah, the best thing that could happen is if they don't get in the play. No, it's not because they don't have a draft choice. But
Yeah. There's that.
that's the thing. Let's let's not forget how this all started. That
Yes.
they don't have any draft choices. That
No.
they're in a hole from which they can't escape, and they won't. So there's no motive in not making the playoffs. So why
No.
this guy's not playing, don't I don't have any idea. I give up on them. But they're going to have trouble with my Knicks today.
Oh
Boy,
yeah.
my guy Tibbs pulled ahead one the other night. They were playing Denver. They got behind they 13 in the middle of the third quarter, and they ended up pulling it out. They were 114, 110. Jokic took a three, missed it. They rebounded. Brunson got it on the right sideline, went all the way down, and on the run threw a lob to Robinson
Wow.
for a dunk. And that place went insane.
I bet it did.
The Garden is in love with this team,
Yeah, they
so
are.
we'll see what happens. But it's tough. It's going to be tough going for the Timberwolves, even if they had their team. But he's got to. If he's on a trip, he's got to play today, right? He's got to play today. If he's on the trip,
mean, you would think, but I don't.
Back home in New York. What? Why not? Put him out there for 10 minutes. He's got to play today, I think.
That would be nice. We'd love to see him. Let's see the status report yesterday. Towns was still out yesterday on the injury report, so I don't think that's happening today, Patrick.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know what to. I didn't see any of the Toronto game. I didn't. They just were never. They were never in it. They lost.
No, they were in it. They were. I didn't see much of it, but they were up like. It was like 83-80 or something. Wolves were like late in the third quarter, and then it all kind of fell apart. I'm sure, they just didn't have the horses, and back to back, no Ant. Probably the wheels came off in the fourth quarter. But yeah, here's the injury report, Patrick. Edwards is questionable with a right ankle sprain, but I got to think he's out. I think they've ruled him out already. Gobert questionable with a left ankle sprain. Naz Reid questionable with the left calf soreness, and Austin Rivers back spasms. Jalen Noel doubtful. Towns out. So
yeah, Noel has been he's been about available as much as Cat lately. What's he got?
I think he's been having something with his knee. I think I don't know what it was. I can't remember what. I just looked at it.
This is when you can really use it when Edwards not out there.
That's true because
somebody can score some points.
I know they don't have a lot of scoring right now, do they? They don't have much scoring, which is a problem. That's the object of the game.
We don't have to worry about them occupying much of our spring. Don't worry.
No,
even if they weren't a back end, they get beat right away. They're not. Yeah, they're not. They're just not very. I don't know. It's a mess.
They're tied in tied in that 9-10 spot right now with the Lakers at 35 and 37. Jazz right behind them too. So it's going to be dicey just to make the play in at this point, which is really bad. They might come down to the season ender. I think they play the Pelicans in the last game. The Pelicans are half game behind them with the Iron Man Zion.
Mike, if these guys don't play, they're going to lose 7 of the next 9 anyway.
That's very true. Yeah, if these guys don't play,
I won't. Don't worry about them. They're the hell with them. Anyway,
let's move on.
But they've had a really good year at the gate too. People really, the fans cannot. They treated this team pretty good with quite a bit of enthusiasm, and they showed up and the crowds were good, and they're going to be disappointed. They're going to disappoint you again. Now, one thing about watching Ant's injury, there's going to be no complaints about him not getting back soon enough. That looked ugly, man. Ooh, yes. That looked bad. That looked bad.
It did.
Basketball and ankles, man. They're not meant for each other.
Hines' report today was that it's not as bad as it looked, but even then, you don't want to rush that back, and you don't want to, even if it's not as bad as it looked, it could still be a 1 to 2. I don't know what it is exactly, but you don't imagine he's going to be back anytime really soon. He surprises us sometimes. I mean, he's been so durable this year. He's still only missed the one game. He's only missed the Toronto game. So we'll see. And it's amazing too, Patrick, for kind of as much as they've been seemingly up and down. I was just looking at this second half of the season, since the second half of the season when they were 20 and 21 at the midway point in the year, they've never been more than 2 games above or below 500. They've just been kind of hovering right around that even watermark. So it's just, I don't know, just hard to. It's been a hard team to really. I mean, like you said, they've had good fan support. It's just been a hard team to really like this year because it's just every time they get something going, something else happens and this cat thing is just clouded. It's just been a cloud all year. I mean, he's missed 50 games, almost 50 games now because
He played 20,
they
right?
they had played
Played 20.
21 when he went out and they've played 70 now. No, they played
Ah,
72. No, they played 72 now. He's missed 51. Jeez.
yeah, 51 games, but he's a caged lion. God,
Cage line.
who's he appealing to here when he does something like that? God, you know, he must be a
His base.
he
Needs
must be a
attention.
nitwit.
Needs
Caged
attention.
lion, caged lion. I'll tell you what. The Roman gladiators, if those were caged lions and they fought the things that just go sit and lay in the corner, and the gladiator would have to go over there and whatever. The guy who fought the lions would have to go over there and stir them up, for God's sakes. They would have slept. They would have had no dose. They're not trading him either. Nobody's taking that $235 million contract and giving you anything back because there's so many questions about his desire to play and
Yeah.
everything else. He's here next year. Get used to it.
Yeah, you'd be selling low at this point, would you not?
Oh,
You'd be selling
my
very low
goodness.
at this point.
Yes, yes.
Haven't thought about that, but that's yeah. I don't know what the end game is here. I don't know what the I don't know what they're up to. But yeah, feels like it's coming full circle when they get to play the Knicks today, and just the guy they ran out of town is now the toast of New York.
New York, yes, yes. The new reasonably skinny Tibbs. He looks pretty good. He's in good shape, but he's still got his comb over's gotten even worse. Man, it's terrible. It's easy, but he doesn't have that face that would go for a shaved head either. So
No.
He's kind of in a quandary, kind of like a lot of us as far as his personal looks. He's just never going to be. Oh, look at that Tibbs.
He's doing the best he can. Okay, he's
doing
the best
he is. He is. All right. A
Um,
lot of us are doing the best.
We're all doing the best we can.
Take a playcation to Mystic Lake. With 24/7 gaming, the good times never have to end. And you can satisfy your cravings at our restaurants and bars. Or relax in one of our luxurious hotel rooms. Those that play together, stay together. And don't forget to join Club M so you can spark new memories and bask in the rewards along the way. Follow the lights to Mystic Lake, where every day is play day.
Patrick, of all the upsets in local sports lately, I'd say the biggest one might be you, sir, becoming one of the foremost cheerleaders, experts, maybe cheerleaders is the wrong word, experts interested in the Gopher men's hockey team on our staff. You've written about them a bunch of times. I know you like Motzko. You've gotten into this team to a certain degree from what I can tell, at least professionally, and now they are the number one seed, even if they did lose to Michigan. What did you glean from your conversation with Motzko the other day?
He's the balance. College hockey's so balanced, and they don't have the goalies. The goalie could play any place in the country for age wise. He's 25 or something. Might be back next year, by the way. He has another year, but college hockey is extremely balanced because you have the teams like Mankato and those that I don't know if they are as old as they were usually, but they're, they got the 24-year-old juniors, and and he's got the young phenoms to guys who only played 1 year as juniors, but they didn't play great against Michigan, but Michigan's extremely talented, also extremely young. But I think that he, deep in his heart, thinks they should win it with this collection because he's really proud of their defense. I mean, they got that front line that's fantastic. But he told me, hey, they got 7 defensemen who could play in the NHL.
I saw that. That's amazing.
4 or 5 who are stitches to play in the NHL. 3 of them could be playing in the NHL next month because Faber is going to get signed by the Wild. Season's over, and as soon as they lose, and then the 2 other seniors, Johnson and Lacoste, are both ready to go, and then the younger defensemen are great. So I mean, he I think he's not going to come out and say we're going to win it, but he feels like they should win it, I think, or that they certainly have a great chance to win it. Trouble with hockey is it's random.
Yes.
Some guy gives you, some guys gives up a bad goal and you get beat 3-2. But people are saying, how come they got stuck in the same region as St. Cloud and Mankato? Well, St. Cloud and Mankato can complain about that because they got to play each other.
Yeah.
But the Gophers, it doesn't make any difference. You get the 16 seed Canisius, which, by the way, beat Holy Cross, which means that there's not going to be a redo of Holy Cross.
At least not with Holy Cross. At least
I think if they lost to Canisius, it would be a worse loss than Holy Cross.
Yes,
with this team because they're the number one overall seed and Fargo, but Fargo will be hopping, huh? You got St. Cloud and Mankato Thursday, and then the Gophers there Thursday, and then you know what I'm really curious. Well, I'm not curious about, but because it didn't happen. But if North Dakota had beat St. Cloud, would have they had the cojones? They had the selection committee to make the Gophers perhaps play North Dakota in Fargo.
No, I don't know. That would have been interesting.
Oh God! Then you would have had something to cry. Then you would have something to scream about if they would have given North Dakota a chance to play at home,
more or less home. Yeah,
but against the Gophers, but it didn't turn out that way. I think they lost 4-3 to Michigan. He didn't seem very upset about it. He said, Bochco, he said that this might be good for us. And, Michigan is probably the second most talented team in the country next to the Gophers. So, he's talking about what a great collection of human beings they are, too. He said that you just, all they care about is hockey. They're not out. He doesn't have to worry about what they're up to, I guess.
Sure.
And he said they're really a devoted collection. So, and man alive. How about that goal by Pitlick?
Oh, man.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I said, that's going to be one of the greatest goals in Pitlick family history. We got Pitlicks all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So we've had a lot of Pitlicks.
That's funny.
In various places. So it was quite a goal. You thought they were going to win then, and boom. I don't think Close had one of his greater games.
No, I don't think so either.
And he's big on him. He said that he said he's got in the locker room more than you'd guess to tell the team that this guy won the game for us. So I don't know. It's hockey, but I still think they're going to win it. I think there's too much talent there not to. I don't know how you beat them. I don't know how you beat them when it's really like, okay, this is it. We got to.
Right.
It's 2-2 going in the third period. I don't know how you beat them. I mean, Michigan just beat them, but I just talent-wise and talent-wise, coaching-wise, everything. I think they're gonna probably win it for the first time since 2003.
Yeah, 20 years. It's been that long, and it's amazing. And it's a little bit of a parallel is maybe not the right exact word, but when they won it in when they won it in 2002, they had so much depth on that blue line, and it was it's one thing to have the talent up front, but you're right, when you've got 7 guys who might play in the NHL on defense, and Faber kind of leading that bunch, and he came over in the Fiala trade, right? Is that how the Wild wound up with Faber? Am I remembering that right?
I don't know. I'm not a real.
I think that's.
Yeah, I'm always saying. I know. I just know Faber. I think you're right. I think it might have been that they did get Faber then, but they are. I said so. Are they going to? I said obviously he's going to the NHL, but is he going right away? And he said he's out of here.
Yeah.
Because the Wild want him as another option for the playoffs. And I guess if you're one of those free agents and a club doesn't have a control of you and you sign, those college free agents that their team didn't sign them soon enough, you can't play in the playoffs.
Correct.
But if you're a property of that team, you can play. So Faber can go to the Wild immediately. So
Yes, Faber was part of that trade. They got a first round pick and Faber for Fiala. That was a pretty good move by Billy G. He's a pretty good general manager, I would say. He's put together a pretty good team with
How about what do they got? They got four new guys. Did
yeah.
Nyquist finally play last? Did he play yesterday too?
No,
I'm
Sunquist
not
played.
sure.
I don't think we've seen Nyquist yet.
Sunquist got a bunch of goals for him already. So
Yeah,
and Boldy,
I think he scored. And Boldy's got some good chemistry with Johansson going. He had a hat
yeah,
trick yesterday. Johansson's been good for that line. He
yeah,
just
and Boldy got 21. So that's pretty good. They're way better than everybody thought they were going to be.
oh yeah.
That's for sure.
The
And
thing about that is, I mean, Dean got him playing defense. I mean, it's gotten a little bit looser lately, but they totally changed their style from last year and just kept winning.
I was happened to be in the car when they have hearing the post game with the Bruins, hearing Emerson's interview on the radio. God,
Yeah.
I love hockey coaches. I said on Twitter, they can make what went into giving up a goal sound like a death in the family. It's unbelievable. I mean, we didn't, we had a chance to slap the puck away from him right then, and we didn't do it. And Dean, it's a goal. It's hockey. The other world, they're going to score a goal. We don't have to lament the fact that somebody took a wrong, but that's the way hockey goes. They had 2 goals waved off in that Boston game, right? They had 2 offsides. I guess one was grievously offside, so it wasn't a
Yeah.
big deal. But, they were able to lament. Even the Bruins were lucky to beat our boys the way it sounded. So
Yeah, they've been going pretty good. It's pretty. I don't know. It looked like they were kind of dead in the water coming out of the break because they went like 1-4-1 coming out of the All-Star game, and then all of a sudden this 14-game point streak kind of out of nowhere with they got all these new guys in the process. And it's just kind of funny too. Like a lot of other sports, they talk about you got to get this guy acclimated. The NBA, they got to get all these practices. They got to get chemistry. NHL, there's like get out there and skate and play and find chemistry right away.
They come to practice. They start training camp, and now I don't know about this regime does it the same way, but their first practice a few years ago, I went to it when I was at the Parade Ice Gardens.
Yeah,
and they started off with scrimmages.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. All of a sudden they got the red team, the blue team, the green team, and the
Right.
white team, and they're out there playing. Their practice is playing. That's what they do. It's not, and then you see something you don't like and you tell the guy, but it's, they do not mess around as far as, they don't have to have pitchers fielding practice, something like that.
No.
They just start playing.
No, I kind of like that about hockey too. It's just kind of a little bit more loosely organized, and I just love how they just how they'll just like lines aren't working. Now you're playing with this guy. It's just like try something different. Why not throw it against the wall?
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah, they're gonna. It could be. They. You get the impression this might be the year they at least get out of the first round. They haven't done that for 6 years, I believe. 6-7 years.
It's been a while. It's
15, was it? 15 or 16?
It was 2 years in a row, I feel like 14 and 15 or 15 and 16. Something like that. So it's been maybe 7-8 years since they've done it. But yeah, it seems like they've got the goaltending, they've got the scoring depth now with some of the moves they made at the deadline, and assuming they get Kaprizov back, although who needs him now, right? They've been scoring without him, but they definitely will need him once they get to playoff hockey. But
man, those afternoon games at this time of year on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, they get 19-5 for all of them. Once football's over, those Sunday afternoons are golden for the hockey team, and basketball team. They don't play many, but we love to go on Sunday afternoons to events if football isn't TV anymore. So they're big. I mean, the Wild remain an amazing, the longest term success we've ever had here.
Yes.
As far as a winter sport, that the fact that they've had a couple little downturns, but then they always snap back, and now the tickets are they still get. People have stopped going to sports events as much as they used to.
Yes.
And these guys, they still get their 18 most nights. So unbelievable.
Patrick, what do you think of the it looks like a pretty good hire made by Mark Coyle with the women's basketball job? Shifting gears here while we get closer to the end of the show here, but this Dawn Plitzuweit from she coached South Dakota for a long time, got her to a Sweet 16 a couple seasons ago, took West Virginia to the NCAA tournament this year, just a one year at West Virginia, and now moving here. What do you make of this? Seems like a pretty good hire in terms of accomplishment, but I'm curious what you think of that.
Youngblood, when Lindsay first got fired, he was one of the two coaches. She was one of the two coaches the local AAU coaches were telling him about.
Okay.
Right away, Megan Duffy at Marquette being the other one, and this woman has a little stronger connection to Minnesota than Megan Duffy would, but maybe also more willing to move than Duffy.
Sure,
who had done really well at Marquette, although they got beat in the first round just like West Virginia did. But there's a $600,000 buyout, but it looks like they paid her enough money, $800,000 a year, that she could pay her own buyout. I would guess he gave her an extra $100,000, so he covered the buyout, so he doesn't have to admit they paid the buyout,
right?
PR wise. So, but she's, I think she's. You look at the record; it's hard to argue with. She knows what she's doing, and can she get the players here? Can the Minnesota's got they got Tessa Johnson going to South Carolina, for goodness sakes.
Yes.
They did not exactly tear it up they had the real good recruiting class last year.
Yes.
But they didn't get the top Minnesota kids at all for this year. I mean, and this year's crop that's going to be playing next fall, and it'll be interesting to see how she recruits locally. But I don't know if she's an outgoing personality, and a little more reticent. I don't know if she's loud or not. I was just reading. Youngblood did a real good job on it.
Yes, he did.
He had originally he had her hired, I think, before anybody, and or at least that she was the leading candidate. And it's hard to argue with the hire, that's for sure.
Yeah,
the other possibility that some of us thought might be Aaron Johnson at South Dakota State, but that's been traditionally a job with a woman as a coach. So I think that took care of that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be her replacement at West Virginia.
Yeah.
He's 48 and ready to move. And it is amazing, though. South Dakota State in women's basketball has been absolutely dominant, but she went to South Dakota and had them competing head to head with. I think 1 year they went unbeaten in that conference. So when she coached there, so it sounds like a good hire. So
she's 50 years old, career record of 365 and 141, which that's awfully good. And
she has a son who's was a really good player at Augustana.
Okay.
Then he transferred. He was like one of the best players in the league and in double Division II. And then he transferred to one of the South Dakotas, I guess the South Dakota, and he got hurt. But he's a sixth-year senior with another year of eligibility. He could be a backup guard for Ben Johnson next year.
There you go.
Along with Parker Fox, another sixth or seventh year player. AJ's his name, and he was a really good player before he got hurt, I guess.
Okay.
And then the way Ben's going to have to be scrounging for bodies, you probably take.
Yeah, they keep what they lost. Now Jamison Battle's interesting. Now he was what we were told initially was that he was going to try to turn pro, and now he's in the portal. So we'll see about that. See if he ends up going somewhere else.
And Cooper trolling for NIL money to see if anybody's out there willing to give him any.
Right.
Hey,
that's a good point. Yeah,
these two guys were your veteran leadership on a team that went 2-17 in the Big Ten. Who cares?
Yeah.
You need new guys.
You need some new guys.
You sure as heck need a new point guard
Yes.
over Cooper. I'm not a big Cooper guy. So
No, you need some new. I mean, they've needed a backcourt for both these years, and that's the thing that's been most disappointing is that just haven't been able to get. I guess Peyton Willis was pretty good a couple of years ago. That was fine. He was fine, but yeah, just whatever they had last year playing in the backcourt was not good enough for the Big Ten.
100 years ago, Jim Dutcher told me guards win college basketball games. And actually, if the Gophers hadn't been idiots and threw Mark Hall out before his senior year, they would have had Hall, Tucker, and Mitchell in 82. And Hall might have been the best of the three, and they still won the Big Ten. And if you don't believe guards are the people who win college basketball, look at Purdue losing to Farley Dickinson. Their guards stink, and it's a disgrace that you have that big, tall kid, and you got a bunch of guys from small town Indiana trying to play guard with them who can't go by anybody, and I've been on the anti-Purdue campaign for a week. I don't like them.
No.
And because the guards were no good, but I certainly did not expect them to get beat by a team that was the lowest rated team in Ken Pomeroy. And in fact, we're over 300 in 353 schools. They were over 300 in the Pomeroy ratings. And they were the best team. They were a better team than you. That whole game, Purdue was awful. By the way, congratulations to the mighty Big Ten. Izzo gets Michigan State through. The Big Ten and the Ivy League have the same number of teams in the Sweet 16. This conference was overrated all year.
It's terrible. This happens every year.
Yeah,
it happens every year. Why are we're not surprised?
I think last year they had 9 and 1 got to the Sweet 16. Yeah. So it happens all the time. But Izzo certainly, was this is definitely good PR for him because he dedicated the campaign to the shooting victims at the State. So it's that's certainly and him getting this team through is not one of his better teams. It's a pretty good coaching job, but. Beyond that, boy, did you didn't have a chance to watch Arkansas and Kansas, did you?
No, I heard that was off something else though.
That was a war, man. I texted Eric Musselman and said, your daddy would have loved that war. I said, because I said that was something, and he responded, and I said, so he texted me back, how are things in Minnesota? And I said, we have snow up to our rear ends and no NIL money. He got a laugh out of that. He's got some NIL money at Arkansas.
Can't take your shirt off up here, Eric.
No, you can't. No, he apparently did that at Nevada, right? And
I think so. Yeah,
a few times after big wins, so he figured this was worth it.
Yeah.
I'm sure people were offended, but what the hell?
No, that was funny.
What a basketball game that was! Wow.
Oh, and Patrick, further evidence of guards being important. Marcus Carr doing okay with Texas.
Yes, right. He made the free throws that put him through. That's now he's had a pretty good college career for a guy who was going to go see what the NFL had to offer, or NBA had to offer. What, 3 years ago or 2 years ago?
I remember that. Yeah.
It's I think one of the worst things about COVID that these guys all get to play till they're 28 years old. And they should have said, "Hey, a lot of people in the world lost something in this. Sorry, boys and girls, men and women. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. You're done. You don't get a free COVID year. The hell with you. It's life. Live life. Jeez, it drives me nuts. Motzko told me that Close played, I think, 3 years of juniors. Then he was someplace else. I don't know if he came here, but he got another year if he wants.
Yeah,
I think he'd be 26.
It's amazing.
I don't I don't know, pre-COVID years. The other thing is Battle, and now I think Battle's graduating in May, so he would have it. But they were going to supposedly when this transfer thing started, you only got one free one, right?
Right.
And then the second one, the old rules apply. Well, they still do, but apparently, I checked with the Gophers, and they said they can just, every appeal is now being approved by the NCAA.
Wow.
So, anyway,
Wow.
so they just go. What Gopher women's hockey team loses, and then the worst possible fate, Wisconsin ends up winning it.
They did. They beat Ohio State 1-0 in the title game.
But let me point this out.
Okay.
Gustavus has been down there winning in women's hockey forever, right?
Yeah.
And never won a national championship. Last year they reached the finals and got beaten overtime. I went down there and wrote a column on them in February for the first time. And yesterday they won the national championship in 3 overtimes. Their first ever Western team to win the Division III national championship. And so don't give me any of that racy jinx crap, you people. I am a good luck charm. Good luck charm. So congratulations to Mike Carroll and Stevie Carroll and his brother and the three former players that he has as assistant coaches, and they've been winning down there for years. He's got almost 500 wins, and yesterday 3 overtimes.
That's amazing.
That one they went out and beat 2 Eastern teams, Plattsburgh and Amherst, 5 overtimes. 2 in the semis and 3 but Gustavus finally wins its national championship in hockey. So
good for them.
That was good for Minnesota sports yesterday.
Yes, it is. Couple quick things, Patrick. I think I'm trying to figure out what the Vikings are up to, but they seem like they've gotten some of their guys in under the cap, and I think there's still something to happen with Dalvin Cook and Zadarius Smith, but I don't know.
Trying to get somebody to give him something for Dalvin.
I think so, yeah. Zadarius, I don't know. Maybe they're doing the same with Zadarius, but they guaranteed him some money when he was still on the roster Friday. So we'll see.
Yeah,
see what's up there.
I think there's a game plan with these guys. They don't just make off the cuff moves.
No.
I think they put a lot of thought into it. And I kind of like what they've done. They got how they get a 25-year-old cornerback who's pretty good is
Byron Murphy. Yeah, he's pretty good.
I was saying this yesterday. If you wanna go and look at a team where you can maybe steal a free agent, go to Arizona because they're idiots. No matter who's in charge down there, they're pretty stupid, and they always have been. The Bidwell magic is still down there, and they're pretty stupid, and to let a 25-year-old corner go who's good is pretty dang stupid, and pretty smart of the Vikings to jump on him right away because it was a big market for him, I'm sure.
Patrick, when are we going to see Polanco? Let's leave it there. I saw the first of the spring where Polanco might not be ready.
So Falvey, it's great. Everything's going good, but he's not going to be ready for opening day. I don't know. I had no idea that his injury was that serious. But now, meanwhile, Buxton is having at-bats on the backfields.
Yes.
So I go to spring training. I pay $50 for a ticket now. I get to see a bunch of guys, and I find out Buxton is taking his at-bats down the street instead of in front. Why don't they at least have him bat in the first inning in front of the fans, who are down there supporting spring training, paying too much and wondering about Buxton. Here he is. He's going to lead off, then he's going to go over to the other fields. But I don't know. But yeah, Polanco, now we kind of know why they got that second baseman for the Giants, right?
Yes.
We find things out. I was surprised Kirilloff's had a couple of bats, not in games, but the backfield, right? Or did he get in a game? I don't know. But he's taken some swings finally. But they got Joey Gallo because they wanted a first baseman. Everybody's talking about the outfield, but they wanted a first baseman. And they got Solano now because they're not sure about second base either. So that's Falvey's double talk to Phil and the reporters on Blanco was world class. So, everything's fine. He's doing good. He's looking good. He's not going to play, but he's way behind schedule. And he's not going to be ready to open the season. Okay, so that's not good to see. Lavelle wrote this when he first got down there. How are they going to score runs? It does not look like a potent offensive team at all. The potent hitting team. I think they got. I don't know. I generally speaking have a tendency to be negative, pessimistic about the Twins, and
yes,
I don't see much reason to be excited right now with Buxton hurt, with Polanco hurt, with Kirilloff hurt. I mean, all of them questionable. All of them questionable.
Question marks. Yeah.
And then of course the Mets think that Correa's leg is going to have to be amputated about halfway through the season. So
right.
I don't know. I think the last year we were going to bring in a new trainer and take care of all the injury problems from last year. This year, instead of having those injury problems catch up to them, they're going to start off with them. So that's a little different.
Get ahead of the game.
Everybody's hurt ahead of the time now instead of later in the season. So I don't know. The pitching's probably going to be a little better, but
I think it's going to be pretty good. Yeah. Hey, Patrick. If the end result is a bunch of 3-2 games that take 2 hours and 30 minutes, maybe that'll be okay.
See, Trevor Plouffe yesterday on
I saw that, yeah.
Love Him Dearly suggests that they not have the clock
right postseason.
Trevor.
Yeah.
The worst thing about baseball is the length of postseason games.
That's when it gets worse. Yes.
Forever.
Yes.
That's the main reason for the speed up rules is these 4-hour. You're watching a World Series for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and Dave Roberts is bringing in his fifth reliever in the top of the fifth. This is the time to have them.
Dead space is not drama necessarily. Dead space is just dead space.
And everybody's adjusting to it.
Yes.
Everybody's adjusting to it. There's no reason. Let the game breathe. How about letting us breathe?
Yeah.
How about letting me go to bed before 12:30? Not that I do, but
right.
Anyway,
as Cat would say, let the kid play. That's what I'd say.
Yeah. Well, watch the World Baseball Classic. Well, I've watched about 5 innings, but the World Baseball Classic has the old rules, and those games are taking forever.
Yes.
So it's the one thing baseball's ever done good, the speed up rules. I talked to Tom Kelly last week. He loves it. Tom Kelly loves it. So, I don't know where that came from, but Trevor, but I usually agree with him. But
he's smart, but I didn't like that one either. I get what he's saying. Like, you don't want to see something. You don't want to see like a game decided, like a postseason game decided because someone gets a ball or strike call on it. But they should be ready for the rules by then.
They should be ready for it. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Patrick. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.